He said, no problem. Just let them be creative. Don't worry about the budget. The studio cost £800 a day, and the programmer hired to do loops for £400 a day was just sitting there. They had the best drummer in the world, and they wanted to use drum machines. It was a nightmare. I left after 3 months, and they finished Second Coming 14 months later.
No.
This band sucks. Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, whether we like it or not. That's a whole new discography per episode. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined as always by my all-elite co-host, Alexander Volt. Say hello.
Hello. Hangman. He's that dude. He's got it. He's got to win it. I'm so excited for Hangman Adam Page to win his second world championship. I know that sounds silly for a scripted thing, but that man makes me feel things I didn't realize men could make me feel.
Alex just came out, and today we're discussing every album by
the Stone Roses.
And this was requested on Patreon by Simon. Thank you so much, Simon, for supporting us and suggesting this to us and giving us your money. We're not suggesting, or we're not accepting any more requests on Patreon because Alex is leaving the show by the end of the year. If you don't know why he's leaving the show, check out our King Crimson Part 1 episode where we go into full detail. And also check out King Crimson Part 2 because we covered all their albums. Stone Roses, nice, short, sweet, 2 albums, a name that I have heard a million times. And for some reason in my head, they were like hair metal. I had no idea who this band was. I just knew the name and I just threw something on there like, oh, they're fucking from the 60s. Oh, they're from the 80s and they're hair metal. I had no idea what they were until now.
You know, I wasn't that far off. Similar to you, like it was just like a name and I never bothered to like dig into them, but I did kind of lump them into like a Echo and the Bunnymen-esque band. So I wasn't far off.
You're a lot closer than I was. That's for damn sure. Echo and the Bunnymen is a lot closer than hair metal. But now that we've heard both, what do you think? What do you think of them?
I can see why an album is beloved, and then I guess I don't want to spoil things, but yeah, I can see why an album.
Spoil what, Alex? What could you possibly be talking about? Their second album, Alex? Is that what you're talking? Is that referencing? It fucking blows. Sorry, we're gonna come out of the gate with it. What are we doing here? We know what we're doing.
Balls were dropped. Yeah, so very interesting to like have this like 50-50 dichotomy of this like album. I can see why it's beloved. It like may even be, like grow on me because I listened to it and I was like, you know, that's not something I immediately love, but there are these like charming qualities there where I feel like I'll come back to this and it'll kind of like grow on me.
I was also very charmed by the first album. We're just going to give away all our thoughts and not even go into the albums. I mean, there's only 2 albums, not that much to say, except for like individual tracks and history stuff. But I was immediately charmed, and there were things that I took away, like big things. I'm like, oh, I love this. I don't love this band. I don't think they're. I mean, I'm probably going to get stabbed for this, but like I see like all these accolades, and it's just the greatest. Yeah, I'm not that guy. I like it. I think they're a good band. I think they're a very talented band. They're a cool band. But God almighty, I have heard things done better and worse for what this is.
Fair enough. They could have had a Laws-esque career, but they decided to do some things.
They could have been the Laws, whom I love, and put out one great album and then just I'm sure there's a lot. I have no idea. See, I often don't look up what people think about these albums, so it doesn't like influence me or anything. But I didn't look. I have no idea how people feel about the second album. I'm sure there's plenty of supporters and defenders of it, but you will not find them here. But as for this band, because this is going to be a pretty short episode, we have some notes here from our boy Tom Osman, our history guy who digs up some dirt for us. We have a piece on the early days from Louder Than War from 2011. There's the making of the debut album from Mojo, and then a piece from Louder the making of the second album from 2025. Relatively brand new article. So let's see what's up with that.
Some interest in that album, I guess.
Yeah. So according to Wiki, which is obviously a lie, the principal lineup is you got Ian Brown on vocals, percussion, harmonica, John Squire, lead guitar, Rennie or Alan Wren on drums, occasional piano, and then Manny on bass. So okay, this is a note from Tom. This is because I didn't dig anything. We just listened to the 2 albums. I don't know why we didn't do it. Listen, we're doing what we can.
Because we have Tom now.
Because we have Tom now. We could have dug deep and then listened to all the extra stuff. We didn't. We listened to 2 fucking albums. This is the album. This is the album show. Oops.
We're gonna take the breaks where we can get them.
But Tom leaves a note. It says Stone Roses had 2 studio albums. How many compilation albums do you reckon that gets you? 6. They did have some non-album singles. But still, the 1995 Complete Stone Roses was certified platinum in the UK. In 2002's The Very Best of the Stone Roses went from 4X platinum.
What the fuck?
What?
Why?
I don't know. Maybe those are good. Maybe those are better. I don't fucking know. I'm curious about some of these. I'm curious about The Very Best of the Stone Roses. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, I'm also... Okay, I understand remixes. I understand the complete Stone Roses, but everything else, what are we doing here?
I don't know, man. Fucking whatever. Yeah. Either way, we got the meat of it. I think we understand what the band sounds like. As long as we understand what the band sounds like. But as for some of the early years, this piece says, fired in the late 70s by punk, Ian Brown was typical of anyone who was awake in his generation. The thrill of the new and those endless signpost 7-inch singles of the period soundtracked his life. And after a chance meeting, they would also soundtrack a new friend's teenage life, as Brown himself remembers. Whoa, dude! This feels like a memoir?
It does. It's very reflective and a bit pretentious.
A little colorful. But I'm a man who's been watching a lot of pretentious movies lately, so I'm okay with it. Goes on to say, who the fuck said this? Oh, Brown said it. So this is from Ian Brown. He says, I got to know John Squire in about 1977. He was getting his head kicked in at school, and I knew he lived up our street, and I jumped in and helped him out. That night, because I felt a bit sorry for him, I took some records around. I already had God Save the Queen the day it came out. I also took the first Clash LP and the adverts, One Chord Wonders. Knocked on his door and took round these tunes. It always throws me off when they say round instead of around. Tom says round instead of around. And I can never say it with a straight face.
You know what my ugly American take is? I don't like city center.
City center?
It makes more sense than saying downtown. It absolutely does.
That's what that means?
Yes.
City center means downtown? Downtown. Get the fuck out of here. Downtown.
Because
USA, dude. USA fucking rules.
Downtown LA really is not downtown for most people. Yeah, so city center technically makes more sense, but
way more sense. But you can't sing the song City Center by what's her face?
Who?
Downtown.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound as good. It doesn't sound as good.
What was it saying? Something. Okay. I knocked on his door and took around these tunes. He had the Beatles, Live at the Hollywood Bowl, and the Beach Boys, Golden Greats. I played my stuff, and he got it straight away, and he got really into the Clash. Check out episode on the Clash. Also, this is our first episode filming since the death of Brian Wilson. Dude. We haven't talked much about the Beach Boys on this podcast, surprisingly.
Yeah, we talked about a Christmas album.
Oh, yeah, we talked about the Christmas album in 2019.
And the Melvins covered them, but
I fuck around, yep.
Yeah, it's a big discography, but I remember being younger and not really understanding it, and then one day this kind of clicked, like, oh yeah, like the sounds and the harmonies you're experiencing, aren't, to the ear don't sound super technical, but they're really pleasing and unique. If you're a music nerd, and if you're not, it's just like really kind of sweet, sincere music.
Very sweet, very sincere. I've considered for many years Brian Wilson to be just a complete genius. I mean, absolute musical genius. He's up there with. I mean, I honestly consider Brian Wilson up there with not just McCartney and Lennon, but with fucking Bach and Beethoven and all like the geniuses of like, because even though like it's for a lot of people, like they think Beach Boys, they think fucking fun, or wouldn't it be nice? Or like just like happy, cheerful, big vocal harmony stuff. But dude, the progressions, they're like, I've been listening to a lot of it lately. Of course, I made my lady friend listen to both Pet Sounds and the Smile Sessions. And it's like, try and write something even similar to that in as best you can to write something like that. It's crazy. Like the opening track to Smile Sessions, which is what is it? How can I forget what it's called?
I've never really done like a deep dive on them. I've just like appreciated it, so I can't.
It's Our Prayer. It's just a acapella group vocals thing. It's ingenious if you just listen to where each vocal harmony goes. It's just crazy. And then you get into the weird stuff. You get into really all of that whole Smile Session thing. It's fucking crazy. And everyone knows about Pet Sounds and how. I mean, we're just talking about the Beach Boys now, but this is our chance. Damn it, this is it. Yeah, this is really it. It's really remarkable. Like I found myself like really moved, like listening, because I was obsessed with those two albums some years back, and listening to it again, I felt like this overwhelming gratitude that we got those songs. Like we actually got that from Brian Wilson, because that motherfucker went through it. That dude was, man, just problem after problem. Not to mention being related to fucking Mike Love, the devil incarnate, that fucking absolute piece of shit.
Yeah, that guy
sued him. Dude, I don't know how many times he sued Brian for playing his own music, for music that he wrote. He fucking sued him like countless times. He sued him. He was fucking hate Mike Love, but just felt like this just gratitude of like, man, how easy could it have been for this dude to not have been able to make this music? I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, go listen to fucking the Smile Sessions in Pet Sounds. I mean, my God, and unbelievable stuff.
And this inspired some of the best bits in Walk Hard.
Oh, he was out of his mind. He was literally schizophrenic. He was, and he was obsessed with Shortened Bread. Is that the song he was completely obsessed with? I mean, there's some crazy stories. There's one with like Iggy Pop being in a room with him with some other people, and then he was like, and Iggy Pop had to like run out of the room saying, "This guy's nuts. Get me out of here." Like,
that's crazy. Definitely, if Iggy Pop says that.
Sure does. I'm sure he was not wearing a shirt when that happened. But also, there was like a lot of really interesting interviews with him, because there's this. Because I had an uncle who was schizophrenic, and I family members who have like, you know, mental illnesses like that, and they have a certain way of speaking. You look at before he died, Daniel Johnston was very similar too. When they're schizophrenic, they have a certain way of speaking, a certain kind of cadence, and a certain confidence that I find really refreshing and kind of endearing. There was an interview that my brother sent me a clip of, where he's just talking about how he found he like a lot of his music he got through dreams and visions of what he thought was the future, and like, you know, us kind of descending into heaven and music being a big part of it. And it was like a really like beautiful kind of visual.
Would you say he was dreaming wild?
I would say he was dreaming realistically. Dreaming wild. Check out the episode on Donnie and Joe Emerson.
Sorry.
And the interview asked him, he says, people say that your music is angelic, that you're angelic. Do you think you're angelic? And he, without missing, he's like, yeah. Like, you're angelic? Yeah. And it's like, fuck yeah, dude. You are angelic. Hell yes. Like,
yeah.
RIP, man. One of the greatest in history, truly.
Also, one of my favorite biopics, Love and Mercy, with Paul Dano playing a young Brian Wilson, and John Cusack as an older Brian Wilson. And I just thought it was interesting. It was just focusing on two specific points in his life. It wasn't trying to jam his whole life story. It was just trying to juxtapose two 2 points in his life. So one of the better, biopics too, and it went under the radar a little bit. So
I vaguely remember that. Yeah, when it came out, I should watch that. It might make me very sad, but it's still.
Yeah, I do think Paul Dano's better cast as a Brian Wilson. I think John Cusack's a little miscast, but he does his best.
Paul Dano is a very good actor. John Cusack is fine.
That's the best way to put it, really.
Yeah. Back to Stone Roses. That was our little. I'm gonna have to put that in the timestamps because there's no way. Like that was such a chunk on the Beach Boys.
That was our opening. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to this. Back to the formation of the Stone Roses. It says within months and now at college in South Manchester, they had a germ of a band together with Andy Cousins on vocals because they had been impressed by his bullshit behavior at college when he had sparked an assailant out, figuring that anyone could fight like that and had the right cropped hair, cropped attitude, and winkle pickers must be perfect frontman material. What the fuck, man? There's so much English slang. I can't. What?
I was going to say, yeah. What's all this, then?
Dude, winkle pickers? What the fuck?
That's the most British word I've heard.
Good Lord Almighty. Okay. So this band has a fucking ridiculous history. Like the amount of lineup changes that they went through before the first album. I mean, because the first album came out in 89?
Yeah.
And this is like early 80s. And like they started out as they were called the Waterfront. They went through a bunch of people. They lost members. One of them went to the fucking army or something. They so many different things happened. They brushed elbows with random ass people like Johnny Marr in was it Noel Gallagher? Did I read that correctly? Yeah, but their first gig, I think it's the first gig. It says right here the band debuted weeks later at the Moonlight Club in London, supporting Pete Townsend, who tried to poach Rennie for his own band. The Roses were thrilled when their obviously talented stickman opted to stay put at it was an anti-heroin benefit. This was followed by a gig at Preston Clouds, which descended into a kickoff, and the Swedish tour, which was the band's mini Beatles and Hamburger moment. Yeah. I wonder if they could have worded that differently. I feel like they could have.
Also, I mean, that's a bit much. Like, the Beatles.
Well, in Hamburgers, yeah.
I get what they're saying, but...
Yeah. Yeah, in the Stone Roses, the Beatles was a difference, They returned home to play the warehouse parties that July 1985, and their local legend was now sealed. The gigs in a warehouse beneath the railway lines behind Piccadilly Station were full of the rowdy Scooter Mate fans, punks, neo-goths, and Manchester hipsters, and a small coterie of Roses believers. I hate this fucking writer so much. The first of a new generation of pop kids who become the core of the upcoming new scene. They also went to the studio to record with Martin Hannett, but the by now dazed and confused legendary producer was struggling by then, and the resulting recordings were shelved as the band began to tread water, bringing in the maverick manager of local club International, Gareth Evans, to manage them. Then they sacked Andy Cousins, and then Pete Garner left. Those are members that were one of the many members that were in the band.
Just completely
I mean, this is insane.
It's like it's one thing if they went on to do something, but
despondent, they tried out a bass player before Manny rang up and declared himself perfect for the band. They knew he wasn't blagging. Come on. Say bragging. You're so close. Within one rehearsal, the most important British guitar band of its period was in place. I hate this article.
Man.
I truly hate it.
Man, the glazing.
It's almost fucking sucking the dick of the band.
Yeah,
oh
the
my
glazing
God.
is crazy in this article.
Stinks. It stinks. But at least we know a little bit of the band. Christ almighty. So we might as well jump into the fucking music.
Hell yeah.
Two albums. First one 1989, last one 1994. Real snappy, real short. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
This is 1989's self-titled. So this has a lengthy
It does. It's
intro. I know. In fact, no, I'm just going to leave it.
I'm sure there's probably a radio edit because no way.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't no way they're playing this on the.
It takes 40 seconds to start. So
I will say
we're almost there.
Once it got going, I could see how this is a beloved song.
Oh yeah. Any second now.
Any second.
Here we go. That's a bass. That's the heavier bass.
Because it is cool. Like, I wouldn't change this at all. It's just more like we're doing the podcast right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't change a goddamn thing about this song. Already, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good little bass line.
It is, yeah.
It is this production. Not bad production. Oh, boy.
For a debut album, yeah, not bad.
Also, that's a pretty big kick drum.
Yeah, I like a good kick.
These drums, dude.
And yeah, that like
huge
guitar tone, it reminded me of like the first time I heard the Pixies. So cool.
Fantastic. I love this. When I heard those, like, oh, hello.
It got me excited and engaged with the music instantly.
Yeah. So fun. And this production, man, it's so beefy, but it's also very spacious.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I totally get why this is like one of the greatest 80s albums ever. Like it won me over.
It won me over too. I don't think it's perfect. I think it's a tad overrated for what it is, but boy, are there things I love about it. And I'm talking about the production. I fucking love this product. Like, this is might be one of my favorite produced albums ever. Like, the way this thing feels and sounds is unbelievable to me, because you get these 80s ass songs. These 80s ass songs, not only not produced like every other fucking 80s band or new wave band or whatever, but produced with this rich, really 360 heavy duty, big and heavy production, live sounding production. You don't hear 80s bands with big old echoey drums like that. Like, you hear them with the stupid, cheap, snappy, small, electronic sounding, very what do they call it? Dry or whatever. This sounds fucking incredible.
Yeah, the album like really does this cool thing of incorporating these different sounds and genres. Sometimes we're like shoegaze or goth music, but then there's like these little folk ballads. There's Beatles-esque stuff. It like I could see how they had that sound for I Want to Be Adored and just coasting off that sound because it's so great. Like, a normal band, I don't really see any reason to change it. Like, just do a bunch of songs that sound like that, really. But they do like bring some nice variety in throughout the album too.
It's a very diverse album. I Want to Be Adored is still my favorite song of theirs, and it's my favorite song on the album, of course. But there's a few others that really stick out to me too. But they're all over the place. So following up with that, you got She Bangs the Drums, which is like, okay, 80s song. Whereas I Want to Be Adored is 80s, but it has this other quality to it. She Bangs the Drum is like their 80s song, or one of like the most 80s songs in the album.
Yeah, I thought it's smart to follow that up with something a little more dancey. And you're saying it was 80s, but I did feel like there were some elements of like 60s pop rock in there.
Yeah. And that's not exclusive to that song too. There's a lot of 60s stuff on here. we mentioned we didn't mention it. We did an entire tangent about the Beach Boys, and Bye Bye Badman is the Beach Boys as fuck.
Yeah, Beach Boys or Beatles. This using that like pop wall of sound thing. And then it does get kind of jaunty at a certain point.
I specifically got Beach Boys more so than the Beatles there because of the type of progressions and also like the bounciness of it. But it's still nice. Like, where is it? There's something about because the first half is very, 60s and Beatlesy and Beach Boysy. It even sounds fucking honky tonk sounding, which is very, very interesting. But the chord changes, the way it keeps developing, like especially the second half into the outro, gorgeous stuff. It's just so well written.
Yeah. I noticed that particularly on Waterfall, where the guitar solo comes in around, and it like has this unexpected Western feel, maybe that honky tonk feel you're talking about, and it like transitions and turns into this almost like funky thing, and both those things just like caught me off guard at that point in the album.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff here because Waterfall, it is pretty. It is very pretty. But Don't Stop, which I caught more on second listen, is Waterfall backwards with different vocals on top and slightly different rhythm. But I just looked it up right now. I think it's a demo of Waterfall. I think it's a different version of Waterfall, but it's still the song Waterfall. And it's not just like a weird random reference, but Can't Speak by Danzig, where it's like, oh, that's Let It Be Captured backwards, but it's more like they got the riff and they played it backwards. The guitar is reversed or whatever, but like bass, drums, vocals, that's all like they recorded that. This is like all the wall of sound, all like the layers, it's all reversed. So you hear like it really ends up being really hard to follow. So it ended up sounding super duper psychedelic.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that it was the previous. I noticed it was backwards, but I didn't like catch that it was the same. And yeah, very psychedelic. And I noted that song can feel like it feels formless, but it was also very clear to me that they were following some sort of pattern. But yeah, if you're playing that song backwards,
it's like there is a rhythm to it. But the thing is, it feels so blurry, like the stops, because they're using the reverse. They're using the recording that's reversed, so the hits aren't like hits. They're whooshes. So even when it's a hard beat and they're trying to like emphasize it with like a different kick that's recorded onto the track, you don't feel the beat. It's this weird. Reminds me of like the Hare Krishna or Dreams Reoccurring from like Zen Arcade by Husker Du. Like,
oh yeah,
where there is a beat. It's just really, it's somewhere in there.
It's different. Yeah, your ears aren't used to it.
Indeed. I know you love Elizabeth Green.
Wait, is it Elizabeth Green or Elizabeth My Dear?
Elizabeth My Dear. I don't know why I put Green.
Usually I'm the one with the typos.
Why did I put Green?
The table.
What the fuck was I thinking? There's zero reason to put Green. Not only have they turned, I don't know what I was looking at.
So, hey, it happens to me all the time. I do feel like a hypocrite. I'm not a fan of some S&G or Simon and Garfunkel. This does
go back to 6 years ago.
Yeah, this does have a parsley, sage, and rosemary and thyme feel to it.
Well, it's Scarborough Fair. It's just Scarborough Fair. They just took the melody and changed the lyrics.
Okay,
which was on that album by Simon and Garfunkel.
Well, I think I preferred the darker thing, but yeah, it's like 40 seconds or
it's an interlude.
Yeah,
it's an interlude that happens to be Scarborough Fair with different lyrics. I don't get the choice. It doesn't sound bad, and if you like Scarborough Fair, well, cool.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I don't particularly love Scarborough Fair that much. I like the Simon and Garfunkel version, unlike you, but it's just one of those songs. I prefer
Sure.
Whiskey in the Jar if I'm going for my Irish folk songs.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Wait, is Scarborough for Irish or is that just English?
I don't even know. That's I just thought we were talking about Thin Lizzy now.
Let's just talk about Thin Lizzy.
I always talk about Thin Lizzy.
Hell yeah, episode 50, way back. So some of the more acoustic, so they do dabble with acoustic stuff, and I tend to like it almost every time they do it. First one on here is Song for My Sugar Sponge Sister.
I think that's one of the weaker songs for me.
I don't think it's that great, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, it comes on and I don't like dislike it. It doesn't sound off-putting, but I think, yeah, just compared to the rest of the album, it kind of leaves me wanting more.
I felt that way about Shoot You Down, which I do not enjoy.
I like it.
I think why?
I like they have this like stand-up jazz bass and then the drum beat with the brushes. It's this nice texture to the song. There's some guitar noodling. It just feels like, yeah, I just want to like relax poolside with this song.
Okay. The pacing isn't bad at all here. And pacing is quite good because you follow like Elizabeth My Dear with Sugar Sponge Sister, which is this very acoustic, big giant strummed acoustic thing, and then it follows that up with Made of Stone, which is way more minor key. And the minor key songs on this album start to really feel a lot better because there was a lot of poppy, happy stuff on here.
Yeah, I like the more gothy stuff. It is a moodier song. There is like another hint of like some light Western stuff around 1:30, and yeah, great song. The
most 80s moment on the entire album, the big ass intro to This Is the One, or the first big chunk. Those, I mean, the 80st of arrangements ever.
Yeah. I if you want a 80s, like a dated 80s thing, but not even like in a bad dated way, like I think, pun intended, this is the one. It's
a good song. This is the one. And especially as it goes on, when the full band comes in, it sounds really good. The original closer on the British version was I Am the Resurrection, which is, okay, this song, it's basically two songs in one. How long is it? It's very long. It's 8 minutes. The first 3:45 is like its own song, and it's one of my favorites. It's so good. I find it to be, it's simple, very simple stuff, but I find it to be really well written, really good stuff. And then from 3:45 until the end is groovy hand drums jamming. I mean, it's long, dude.
Yeah. I was a bit worried that it would just be like repetitive, but like all the like different sections won me over. It's like this 60s pop rock thing. And then, yeah, almost like a day tripper type bass on there. And then, yeah, they have a jammy section and they follow it up with a different jam section. It's a wild choice.
It's a great, I think it still works, especially as a closer. It's a good close. I mean, I think the jamming for 5 minutes is a bit much, but still has great moments. On the US version, they added Fool's Gold at the end. It's also on streaming. And they also added one more track in the middle of it. I think it was Elephant Stone. They added that as track 3 for the US release, which isn't on this streaming version. But, well, it's probably on the bonus tracks or whatever. But Fool's Gold is the other closer, which is 10 minutes, and I hate it.
I love it.
You love it. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew you had to have some strong feeling about it.
I do agree that I Am the Resurrection is a better closer for this album because Fool's Gold
doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit at all.
It does stand out. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but like, I don't know. It's funky and it oddly sound. I know we're like right on the cusp of the 90s here, but like it sounds more like a weird, unique 90s song to me. And I thought it was brilliant. It maybe doesn't belong on this album, but I think it's really cool. And they're like dealing with some really like unique, ahead of their time sounds here on this song.
On that, for that, because it does sound like a 90s. I have such problem. You don't. We've talked about this in past episodes with other bands. I have such, like, one was like My Lady Valentine's, a big one, where I have such a problem in my soul of that fucking 90s.
Oh yeah,
hate that
love
fucking beat. I hate that beat. It drives me up the goddamn wall.
The endorphins from the nostalgia that I get.
Oh man.
Oh, just like, man, just like, what the movie Hackers isn't good, but it just is like, man, it feels good. Also, I just watched Fifth Element the other day.
Oh yeah.
What a crazy score. What a crazy,
I don't remember the score.
Bonkers score.
Oh shit.
Like,
I've seen the movie so many times too.
I think because it's just like ingrained in your head and you just accept it. But I think if you go back and watch, especially after doing this podcast for 6 years, you're like, what kind of maniac would be like, we're going to make this for the score? It's this, it's very, it's very 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. Most likely the same guy who suggested Chris Tucker be in it. And then the rest, anything about him in that movie is pretty astounding.
It was supposed to be Prince. It was like written for Prince.
You know how much fucking less annoying it would have been if it were Prince instead of Chris Tucker in that role? He's so annoying.
It is funny. I like to watch the Siskel and Ebert reviews of movies if they were around to review them. And that was their one complaint. Too much Chris Tucker. Because
it's literally one of my favorite action movies of all time. Might be like my number 2 favorite action movie. Number 1, Die Hard. Bruce Willis, man, through and through.
The scene after Lilu gets created and breaks out and the whole like multi-layered, it's just perfect. There's like nothing wrong with that scene.
It's great. It's a great movie. The parts that honestly I remember the most are the things I don't like. 1, Chris Tucker. 2, the fucking blue singing lady.
Oh no, you're so wrong.
Not into the blue bitch.
No.
Like, it's cool, but also when it starts getting all 90s, it just starts doing the fucking hand dancing. I'm like, okay, all right, wrap the fuck up.
There it is. Because
it's a 90s-ness, dude. I hate it.
I love it. I love the
the 90s. I hate that drum beat.
No, the like blue singing lady part isn't. It's just, again, I love also this like that's going on while Lilu's like Bruce Lee. Yeah. All right.
It is a great movie. It is a fantastic movie. Anyway,
Fool's Gold.
Fool's Gold is very funky and it has a drum beat in it. It is an odd thing to have on this album, but I would say it's not the worst that they do in terms of lengthy, jammy, funky things. But
I kind of thought that was like a sign of where they were going for their next album, and boy was I wrong. But you were not that wrong though. Yeah. You're kind of not. You're like half and half. I mean, you were going to have a bad time either way, but I could have had a great time.
You could have had a good time. Anyway, either way, this is it's a beloved album. It's a very good album. I don't think it's perfect, but it is very good. Some of the greatest production I fucking have ever heard. I mean, it's truly incredible production. Fun ass songs though. Fun songs.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you like the Pixies, you like shoegaze, some lighter goth rock, like this is an easy recommend, easy, like you got to listen to it.
Yeah. As for some of this lore behind this album, the guy who produced it, John Leckie, who's Paul Schroeder? Oh, the engineer for this album was Paul Schroeder, who did Talk Talk. Hell yes.
Oh, there it is.
Check out episode.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Tribe Called Quest. Check out episode on Tribe Called Quest. As well as other ones I'm not so familiar with, like Beth Orton, Campbell, Volacet, and Samantha Fox. But this is produced by John Leckie. He says, before the Rose, I produced the Wooden Tops, the Laws, and Ecstasy, all episodes we've done. As the Dukes of Stratosphere, we didn't do that Dukes of Stratosphere. We always meant to.
That. We might
not be able to ever, but whatever. To be honest, he says, my motivation was the Wooden Tops hadn't made it yet. nor the laws, so it better be the roses.
Oh.
Wow. He says, my first impression of the demos was, oh, another indie band. It was badly recorded. Everything was too fast and the vocals were over-drenched in reverb. I knew it would be a challenge. I had to rehearse them and rearrange songs, giving them intros and outros in steady tempos. For I'm the Resurrection, they wanted to jam the second half, all feedback and noise like they did on stage. I said, that's boring on record. Do something melodic that people will remember.
It's crazy. Like, this is a case of like a producer really impacting the sound of the album and like pointing the band in a great direction. And different producer, we're talking about a totally different album, it sounds like.
Completely different. And the true power of a great producer, not unlike a Mr. Bob Rock, who just pays gold with his input.
He is the Saint Anger around your neck.
He is. Oh, goodness gracious. This guy goes on to say, we always knew I Want to Be Adored would start and I Am the Resurrection would end it. But once we had the whole running order, we realized, fuck, that's good. Of course, John and Ian hated the record. They said the drums and bass weren't loud enough and the guitar needed to be more devastating. They'd been playing Public Enemy in the studio all the time, full blast. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. That's what you used to influence you, brother.
What a violent choice.
After the album became successful, Zamba, which Tom notes here as a parent company of Silvertone Records, said, do whatever you want. Ian and John had the Fool's Gold demo with the breakfast loop from James Brown's Funky Drummer. And we spent 3 weeks at Sawmills in Cornwall recording it. 3 fucking weeks? Jesus.
That seems excessive.
Recording it and What the World is Waiting For. It took 4 days alone just doing the wah-wah guitar. There was no Pro Tools then to do it for you, but limitations made you try harder. That's not, I'm going to go ahead and, this is my opinion, not Alex's. That song is not worth 3 fucking weeks. I mean, goddamn, I get 3 weeks. I get 3 months for one song. I get that. That song for me, 3 hours.
No, I like Fool's Gold, but yeah, this sounds like a bit excessive. I don't think it's that good.
Yeah. And I'm also, this is the first time I'm actually seeing like the critical reviews of this album. I mean, it's like 10s across the board.
Oh, it's beloved.
And I would call it a solid, on the low end, 8. If I were to give it a number score, it's a good album. I enjoy the hell out of it. I think it's produced brilliantly. But yeah, it's cool. I find it more fun than I do like Revolutionary.
I don't want to give it a number score right now.
Yeah, there we go. So time to move on to the second album, which took a little while to come out. A little while.
Well, that's not good.
No. In this case, no, it's not. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This is 1994's Second Coming. So this takes so long, I have to fast forward it.
Also, I just wasn't
like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting like guitar feedback like this.
No. So fast forwarding it about 2 minutes. So this sort of groovy, tribal-y thing comes in, and I'm not kidding, it takes another 2 minutes for anything else to happen.
I like this song, but it doesn't feel like representative of the album.
No, it doesn't. Okay, I gotta fast forward to 4:30.
Yeah.
4:30. Like it's crazy how long this. I mean, it's not crazy, but crazy considering what we just heard and what we were expecting, I guess. Let's do it right here.
Might even have to go for
We're about 4:20 in right now. 4:30 right now. There we go.
Was not expecting this.
No.
And I'm fine with it on one song, but
Oh yeah. I would say this is like damn near cool.
those are the most Damo Suzuki-ass vocals I've ever heard.
That is being really kind, but you're right.
Yeah.
a little bit more proper grammar and
I'm sure he's saying
pronunciation.
real words, but
Real words.
he didn't have to.
So this, what do you call this? Because it's Austin Powers adjacent.
I feel like they're blending psychedelia, blues, funk, some krautrock. Obviously, they're doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's a cool song. However,
I do too. Yeah.
yeah, they don't really keep up they don't keep that energy up, and they seem to just kind of rest on their loins for the rest of the album.
I think this is a bad album. I mean, bad. I really did not enjoy this at all. It felt like the laziest, most blown up, overplayed, really padded albums I've heard in a while.
Yeah, it's the like, although hearing that interview where they talk about how they wanted the guitars to be louder and all that, this kind of makes sense. But yeah, we're not really a fan of generic blues inspired albums on this podcast. There's too much of it. Like, if Breaking Into Heaven was its own thing, and then they offered me variety the way they did on the last album, cool. But like, yeah, like we're entering things where like the production's way too clean and not in a good way, and yeah, it's not great.
I still think the production is pretty strong, but first, I mean, the elephant in the room is this album is 78 minutes, almost 79 minutes.
And I warned you. I had to warn you.
You did. And the opening track, Breaking in Heaven, we're talking like, oh, it's a cool opening. It is almost 11 and a half minutes. It is too fucking long. Like, I'm fine with the song. It's my favorite song on the album, or one of my favorites on the album.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus Christ, like, that's a lot. It's a lot of. The things I didn't like about Fool's Gold, they are brought back in full force. The overplaying, the jamming, the fucking wrap it the hell up.
I think that's fair enough. You're consistent, but yeah, I think, like I said, I think you can leave that song as is if you follow it up with better songs. Unfortunately, what follows is not better songs.
What follows is Driving South, which blows.
Dude, it this feels like a generic like dudes rule, like dads hanging out in the garage.
Don't get me wrong, dudes rule for sure, but that song does not. Like, you see it, yes. It's Southern rock with the shitty, cheesy 90s dancey drums.
Yeah, it's just these like generic, like blickety blam, like bright, like generic guitar solos. Yeah,
that's the thing about the whole album, though. Where the performances on here, they are really, really technically impressive.
I was about to say that. Like, I think they're actually a bit more proficient at playing blues music than previous bands we've talked about. Like,
easily.
Yeah, I think they could have found like a cool groove, but they go to the well way too much for my liking.
They go to it a lot, and by the well that I'm talking about is we're gonna play this bluesy ass impassioned guitar solo forever. They go on and on and on with these fucking bluesy ass pentatonic solos. We get it. We've heard it. I mean, Jesus Christ. I've become so intolerant of solos that are just, hey, look at, I'm soloing now, or I'm doing a bunch of crazy little shredding. Is it cool? Is it interesting? Is it doing something that's like, you take a shred? I mean, one of your favorite solos from ever, was it Domination from Pantera?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, you get a guy like Dimebag Darrell where like you get guitar players that can shred better than him. You get like fucking Yngwie Malmsteens and all those. But are they better solos? I don't think so. I think because he's doing creative stuff with the solo. These are just rocking out super hard. That's what all these songs are. He's just rocking out with a lot of passion.
Yeah. By the time we get to, I'm jumping around a little bit here, but by the time we get to like Tears, like it's funny because the song before that is called Good Times, but like the riffs on here are like a pretty gratuitous, like Good Times, Bad Times riffs from Zeppelin. And it's like you can't do Zeppelin worship because Zeppelin's already ripping people off.
Literally ripping people.
So
not only that,
you become a copy of a copy at that point.
Exactly. I got the exact same thing from, so Good Times, it's like a kind of a Zeppelin Doors hybrid. Check out we covered both those bands. Check them out. Previous episodes. But Tears is like, okay, you're really going hard with the Zeppelin stuff here. Jesus Christ, the big ass pristine acoustic guitar. Okay, all right, I got it.
Also, Becoming Led Zeppelin is on Netflix now, and that is a cool ass. As a Zeppelin fan, that's a cool ass documentary. But it is called Becoming Led Zeppelin, so that's where the movie ends. It's not once they become Led Zeppelin. The documentary. I wanted more, but I didn't know Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones fucking played on the Goldfinger.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that in the previous episode.
So,
that's crazy.
So yeah,
that's so weird.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Zeppelin, that's a fucking cool documentary. Some great performances in there. I just love a documentary where they can kind of up the production, so you're really hearing the instruments. Anyways,
yeah, nice. Having shat all over the Zeppelin worship, I will say Tears is one of the songs I like more on this album.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, it's really not that great, and it's ridiculous that it's 7 minutes, but it is one of the better ones here. Because my standards after track 1 dropped completely. I'm just grasping at straws. Yeah,
absolutely. While we're on Zeppelin, Daybreak, kind of doing the can thing. The bass is doing the heavy lifting for me on that song, but then it gets to a point where it's very like Moby Dick, the Zeppelin song, but there's no drums. So I'm I can fucking hear it. Just do it at that point.
just make it a cover, for Christ's sake. At that point, because I was so disappointed by 10-Story Love Song, because I was like, oh, this is an interesting intro, and then the song just fucking shits on itself, nosedives. So Daybreak comes in. At this point, I'm just thinking, what the hell are you doing? They're writing different. They're writing different genres of songs with no hooks. So far, they tackled 4 different genres, and they all just bland, average riffs.
Yeah, it gets to the point where Begging You comes on, and it's a pretty wild choices being made on that song.
Yes,
where you can almost argue it doesn't belong on this album. And it's really just an okay song, but because my ears are hearing something different, it's oh, is this a good song? I think it's okay.
I would say it's not. It's another one with the fucking 90s house drums, though. So that's already oh, it's definite. This is a definite stinker for me.
I'm going to listen to The Prodigy after this.
See, exceptions for Prodigy. I'll give me a couple exceptions for Prodigy. Not all the exceptions, but... the only other song that I would say is one of the better ones by a noticeable amount is Your Star Will Shine. It's another one of the acoustic songs.
Yes, I noticed that as well. And it does have this kind of Irish lullaby vibe to it. I don't know if the band is Irish, but that's what my ears... There were just a few things in there that made me think about Whiskey and a Jarro.
Oh yeah, you have to pronounce. You have to say it like that anytime you reference the song. You have to say Jarro. You have to say Jarro.
Yeah.
What else do we got? More fucking funk on Straight to the Man. I think it's awful. I can't take it. Tightrope is an acoustic song, which I said I liked all the acoustic songs. I take it back. That one stinks. I actually hate that song. I truly hate that song.
It is more in the like. It starts off as this like trippy acoustic guitar thing, kind of like you're around like a campfire. I appreciate what they're doing, but then if it ends up sounding like a song the Doors would do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the final 3 tracks, I mean, brutal. I find them to be, it's a brutal 3 tracks. You got How Do You Sleep, followed by Love Spreads, and then closing with Foz.
And I said, don't sleep well. That one is not blues, but it is very boring alternative rock.
Yes, it is very, very boring. But then we got the Southern Rock BS on Love Spreads.
If that song was shorter, I would have given it a thumbs up. It's still in the blues thing, but when it's that dirtier, like Delta blues, I kind of like that sound. But it's way too long. I can't defend that.
Most songs are painfully long. I even though I don't like the Southern Rock stuff of that song so much, it goes into this kind of strange 90s alt rock hybrid thing that's kind of okay, but not enough to save it. It still goes on too long for its own good. It does. And then the closer, Foz, which is honestly the most interesting and different thing on the album, still manages to be a pain to sit through.
Yeah, it kind of has more in common with like Nick Cave and Tom Waits.
Tom Waits, for sure.
Yeah, it's ugly and it's different, and it made me think like, what if they did like a weird, like folksy, like old-timey album like the Pogues? But then I was like, I don't like the Pogues either. So
I don't like the yeah, they got one good album, in my opinion, but
yeah.
So it has like mandolins and really old piano, and it's like it's like blues, but it feels very out of tune. It's very interesting. The thing is, I thought like, this is a cool little intro. Baby, that's the whole 6-minute fucking song is that, and it gets old.
Yeah, agreed. It just like there was something there, but they just drove it into the fucking ground.
That feels like the whole album.
Yeah, really,
it's crazy, man. So I don't know anything about this album. I'm going to be looking at the reviews for the first time ever right now.
They're bad.
And they're bad. They're honestly not as bad as I think it deserves.
That is true. It's more like middle of the road, actually. The Guardian.
B- 6 out of 10, 4 out of 5.
The Guardian loves this album.
They already gave it a 4 stars. These people are all fucking retards, but that's just my opinion. You can go ahead and review that. I think it's worse than that because I think it's easy to be fooled for a few songs, like, it's produced pretty strong, performed really well, but behind it all is nothing. There's nothing behind all that.
I agree. There's not a lot of substance. I think maybe if there was some control, a better, like, if anything, I think I've learned like they need that strong producer to rein them in. After hearing,
funny you say that because John Leckie also produced this, and he has some thoughts about this album.
Because it's Wikipedia, so it might not be accurate. They're saying this is the Simon Dawson and Paul Schroeder.
Oh, it's partly recorded by John Leckie. So he was my mistake.
Good.
So
okay.
Only on let's see,
3, 7, and 11.
Yeah. So 10 Story Love, Begging You, and How Do You Sleep? Either way, not that great.
This man's earned my trust. I want to hear what he said.
Fair enough. Also, I didn't realize that the Foz was a hidden track. Not that changes.
No,
much,
it doesn't.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, I knew the second album was a problem when they didn't show up. Rennie would go home for days, or John wouldn't come out of his room, or they'd endlessly play the same thing over and over. There was no A&R man around, no manager by then. It was just me and them. I told A&R Gary Gersh, we've been here 3 weeks and they've done nothing.
Man, this guy rules.
This guy rules. We can trust this guy. We know he knows what he's doing.
I can, because everything he's saying makes sense to me. Yeah.
He said, oh, dude, he goes on to say, he said, no problem. Just let them be creative. Don't worry about the budget. The studio cost £800 a day, and the programmer hired to do loops for £400 a day was just sitting there. They had the best drummer in the world, and they wanted to use drum machines. It was a nightmare. I left after 3 months, and they finished Second Coming 14 months later. Fuck, this band sucks.
Yeah, it is like a miss. I feel like I don't really have strong opinions on it, but this sounds similar to that band, The Rapture, where a lot of people say like their first album was all I forget the guy's name, the LCD Sound System guy. Like
I don't remember. Yeah.
Whatever his Christian name is, like that it was all him, and that's why they fell off.
James Murphy.
Yeah, that it was all James Murphy on that first album, and that they're actually not that talented, which, you know, makes sense when I hear their albums. So it sounds like I don't really have strong opinions. Like, yeah, that first album fucking rules. Like, this is a dance punk classic.
I have not heard it. I've heard the Famous song, and I gotta say, I do love the Famous song.
Oh,
the Famous song I think is very, very good.
House of Jealous Lovers, that'll fucking get me.
I'm talking about Dance Yourself Clean.
Oh, that's LCD Sound System, though.
Wait, who are you talking about?
I was talking about The Rapture.
Oh, The Rapture. Oh, The Rapture. Oh, yes. Okay, I got lost. Sorry.
Sorry, I was trying to compare the Stone Roses, where like maybe the musicians aren't that talented, and they got lucky enough to have that producer like be kind enough.
Same time, same kind of time period though.
No, different time period. Different.
No, I'm talking about as LCD Sound System.
Yes, sorry.
Rapture. That's where we made the comparison. Those are the same time period. Yes. Back on track.
I actually think that album was part of the reason he decided to make LCD Sound System, because he was like, these fucking jackoffs can't play music. It'll like, this is me. I need some like recognition.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but
maybe, but who knows?
But either way, similar situation. Great debut album. Fell off fucking hard. This piece, this is the piece that details the backstory of this album, I believe. It says John Leckie had actually begun work on the follow-up to the Stone Roses' widely acclaimed self-titled 1989 debut album on January 30th, 1990, an appropriate time, actually. And while the quartet had undeniably been creative in the intervening years, during their 1991 stay at Bluestone Rehearsal Studios in Pembrokeshire, English as hell, Wales, or it's Welsh as hell, Artie guitarist Squire had created an 8-foot snow penis, quote unquote. They just hadn't recorded much in the way of actual music. In fact, only 2 songs. July 1990 single One Love and its B-side Something's Burning. Quick detour and plug for the Patreon. You know what else John Leckie did?
What's
fucking
that?
Magazine, Real Life. This guy fucking rules.
Oh, this dude rules. We just covered Real Life by Magazine on our Patreon bonus episodes. Go there. Support us there. Bonus episodes. Yeah, that's nice. This dude knows what he's doing. We like him. We like John Leckie here.
I may just check out a random John Leckie album from here on out.
Hell yeah. So this is another bump in the road from the first album to this one. It says, to be fair, for a significant part of this time, the band were subject to a legal injunction preventing them from recording new material while their lawyers sought to extricate them from their contract with Silvertone Records, a case they eventually won in the summer of 91, but before signing to Geffen with a £2 million advance for the making of their second record. They then took the rest of the year off. Okay, and that's where the problems begin.
No,
you're taking a year off.
They didn't even want to record a second album.
No.
We can't record our music. We're hung up in this legal thing. We won.
It resolved in 91, dude.
We're gonna take a year off. Like, you guys didn't even want to. That was a blessing for them.
Jesus. Yeah. Also, like the thought of taking a year off. This is just obviously my perspective on this, but the thought of taking a year off when you're handed an opportunity, it's terrifying. The thought of taking a year off means, that's a year to begin to suck and to forget how to be good. That's a year of that's not a good year. That's an anxiety filled year.
I think it depends on the personality, but obviously these guys shouldn't be taking a year off.
No, yeah,
especially if you were in a legal battle where you technically were off. I mean, I know going to court isn't fun, but
also I didn't realize that apparently, so after Lecky took off because of obvious reasons, they got Paul Schroeder. He quit too.
These guys are menaces. These guys are menaces.
Yeah. It says Paul Schroeder would quit too in February 1994, at which point Rockfield's in-house engineer Simon Dawson took over, and finally the group began to turn the corner.
I went into this episode, I was gonna give them, pun intended, their roses for their first album, but I'm just like, no, it's I walked away a John Leckie fan.
yeah. Who would have thought? Holy shit! This is from it says. The hype was so great that we were never going to be able to fulfill it. Manny told Mojo. Everyone wanted Electric Ladyland and Sgt. Pepper rolled into one. The band, however, were confident that album 3 would be the one, with Ian Brown boldly telling Vox that the aim was to make the best LP of all time next time out. The Stone Roses wouldn't make a third album.
Also go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. Oh my God.
Trying to call your shot like Babe Ruth, but you're being carried by John Leckie.
John Leckie. Fine songs though. On the first album. Fine songs. And then after that, it says after the Stone Roses split, John Squire formed the Seahorses, who released one album. Manny joined Primal Scream. Ian Brown had a pretty successful solo career. And then between 2011 and 2017, the reunited Stone Roses had various tours and shows. And in 2016, they released 2 new singles, All for One and Beautiful Thing. I hadn't heard those. I'm not really jazzed. I'll listen to them, but I don't know how excited I am.
They just remind me of untalented assholes who somehow get a foothold in the music industry.
I respect them less after recording this episode than I did listening to the music. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, you recorded a bad album. That can happen to anybody, but
yeah.
It kind of seems like they're destined.
But there was something that's even before learning all this stuff while filming, there's something that stunk about the second album. I don't mean like it stinks like it does stink. It is a bad album, but there's something that stunk to me. Like this is more than just a long album full of boring songs to me. This feels like a band that really thought highly of themselves. And it's not like a moral, I'm not taking a moral stance or anything. I felt it from the songs, from the way, from the performances, the soloing, the full on jerking off on the whole album. It just like these guys feel like they're doing something really profound, and it fucking sucks. It's so boring.
I will say I don't like the Police, but like at least, and they are full of themselves.
They are.
But like, God damn it, they could like, for their fan base, they could pull it off at least.
Yeah, because you pull up that fucking that Police greatest hits. Oh, it's a greatest. I don't like greatest hits albums, but it's a really good greatest hits. They have some killer hits.
Yeah,
their albums are a little flawed. Some of them stink, I think, but they still have like, oh, that's a good set of songs. The ego, I think, does not warrant, but this is, on the other hand, is like, it's like, it's very Emperor's New Clothes feeling.
That's a great
for the second album. Yeah, because the first album was like so cool, and they're like, oh, we got this. We don't even need to fucking trust us. Just let us do what we want to do. And you gotta have a little bit of like, is this actually good? Am I actually enjoying this, or am I just enjoying playing it? This is a very big difference.
For sure.
Anyway, that's the end of the... Thanks so much for listening and watching, Hannah. Holy crap. It's interesting band.
How this is a shorter episode, but that felt like an eternity.
It sure did. Well, we had to do a lot of editing. We were trying to like do some last minute researching.
For sure.
But so thanks so much to Simon for suggesting this one to us. It's a fun one. I'm glad to finally have heard them and know who the band is. If you want to support us the way Simon does, even though we can't take any more requests officially, at least not for the time being, go to Patreon.
We can do bonus episodes.
We do bonus episode requests. We do plenty of those. So go to patreon.com/everyalbumever. That's where you fund the bonus episodes. You get to see our schedules in advance. You get to join the Discord, be part of the community, talk shit, talk shop, talk music. And if you're tier 2, suggest any album from any place and we'll do bonus episodes on it. It's very cool stuff. You can follow me on all social media at PanderMonkey, Alex on Beluski at
Octatron3030,
and our history guy Tom Osman at Tom Osman Sounds, and his music at TomOsmanSounds.com, and his podcast, whatever comes next. Links to all that in the description. My EP, link to that in the description. And I believe that about does it. So I guess, I'm glad we did this. I'm going to take a break from the Stone Roses for a minute. I think I need a little bit of a break from them. But I think I'm going to keep that. I'm keeping that first album in my library.
Oh, for sure. First album.
Fun.
Great. Yeah. And now I know when I see John Leckie, I need to listen to it.
Moral of the story, John Leckie rules.
That's it.
Hell yeah. So thank you so much for listening and watching. See ya.